So let me show you something about the training ground, and it revolves all around Chris. Chris is a key to winning and losing in a very, very grand amount of matches. So you have to remember one thing. Of all these 3 champions, Chris is by far the tankiest. That means if we have, for example, a beret who does a bleed damage, he will proc Chris' shield more often, so it's actually a worse choice to put against him. So what I want to do is I want to avoid Chris, because I know Arya will have a hard time getting through him. Now if I would switch this, I would probably win, because I can secure my Arya behind the best tank, but I want to make sure her Arya dies. And it's an easy win. And now you can see your Arya survives, and their Arya actually dies first. And that was against a weak opponent. So let's see, I have 685 rating, so I want to try against someone who's stronger than me, 694. So now their Chris is protecting their Arya. So what I want to do is I want to find a way to break through. And the best way would be actually from the bottom, I think. Well, my top lane actually needs to hold as long as possible. So this one needs to hold longer than this one. So let's see how this goes. And that goes smoothly, despite him being stronger. He has a higher Sheila. So let's see what happened there. My Arya did the most damage, and that's also always what needs to happen. Your Arya needs to do the most damage. Our Chris did no damage, so he died really fast there. So I'm really actually curious how this battle went. So here you can see Arya in the bottom lane, because and she can break through. She broke through, so she has her first kill. And you see our top lane is still holding strong. And Sansa almost has her heal. It's a bit too late. It doesn't really matter who I put there, actually. Could be anyone. Okay. Okay, the next one is really much stronger than me. He has Russell Gold. It doesn't really matter. So we have to hold to the Chris principle. Now I can't put him here or here, because they'll counter him. They'll get too much damage. So I'll keep him here. That means he has to butcher 2 tanks. So then I actually hope what I can do, and the only thing I actually can do then, is that as much damage as possible to make sure I outdamage him. So let's see how this goes. And I kill him easily, because I hold to the Chris principle. You always have to put Chris in front of Arya. Now let's see what happened there. I enabled Arya to get free. So Arya is top damage again. So let's see how that went actually. So Chris is doing fine. As you can see, he is still almost full health. He has no problem. So they are just safe. Now, in the meantime, the rest is actually going pretty scary. This one is rather easy. This would even each other out. The very moment they kill either Rob or Gorel, they're gonna switch target. If Arya is running at that very point towards one of my other targets, so she would pass by Soren actually and try to hit something else, she would be very dead. She will be shot instantly. Chris principle. Look, we can easily start countering. That would always help, of course. This would be a very basic counter, because this would be pretty much even. And he has the edge because he has a gold shield, I mean not. So then you just use the counter that you're given. And you keep Arya. And that's an easy win. Well, it's not easy because he has the same setup as you, only a bit stronger. You enabled Arya. You always have to enable Arya. And you always keep her behind Chris. Okay, so now who's next? We have another one, a very high score. So he has Theon, and I know that Theon will absolutely shred you. So he needs to die right away. He needs to die fast. He protects him behind Chris, which is the best choice to make, because this will be his damage dealer, not her. So what I actually want to do, we have 2 tanks here. I'm gonna put Chris and Arya. She will shred through the tank. Once she kills one tank, it goes automatically. Now I want to make these guys, these have to sustain. And I think actually this setup is just fine as it is. Easy win. Because I will tell you why. We enabled Arya, as we always do. We protect her with Chris. I was really a bit worried about Tion there. But Tion didn't do that much. So we have Chris and Arya completely safe against 2 tanks. They will not do any damage to her. And then we have Gorel is getting butchered, but he gets his stun off really fast. So that's really good. Rob Stark's almost ready to stun. And he actually managed to stun that side. And Tion snipes him. Then we have Sheila and Soren both on Tion. They will absolutely destroy him. So that went actually perfectly great. Here we have another one with 783,000 rating. So we're gonna put Chris as far away as possible from her. So she has to travel all the way to Chris when those 2 dies, and the archers can snipe her again. And that's gonna be really easy. And I think this can't lose actually already. It's easy. I just murder him right away. This time even the most damage came from Soren. So here we have another one, 763,000. We behold the Chris principle. So this is a bit tricky for me because I don't know any of these champions. So then you just have to counter whoever you can. And we have to keep her behind Chris, that's the rule. Oh, I actually win. Yeah, I can get her off. So I can get her off easily. So I hope you learned something from this. So let's focus on this. Arya always behind Chris. Make their Arya travel as far as possible so she can get sniped. Because she has to obey the frontline rules. She has to kill the tanks, the front line first, before she can go on the back line. That's the rule from Arya. And the archers always take the targets that's closest to him when they have to find a new target. So remember that. And that's all you need to do to get high in the training guide. I hope you liked this episode. And if you really like it and you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. There's much more guides coming. I have a lot for you in store.